Hello everybody. This is yours truly, Nelson Gore speaking, also known as Hados623 in the TCG world, or Ncode10, or Doomslayer623, whatever you have it. Everyone's been talking about my Koala deck list. I've done a few collabs with JoJo's Hobby House and Larry TCG, some of my good friends. I think some other people have covered this topic a fair bit as well. But here I am. I just wanted to actually I've always had a YouTube channel and I've been making some random content here and there while I was growing up, so I thought it would be criminal of me to not cover my own deck list for my first ever top at an offline regional event. And not only was it my first ever top, I was able to scrape all the way to top four. And honestly, if I'd played a little better, if I'd played a little bit better, focused a little bit more, and my opponent didn't get really lucky, I think I would have won my top four game, and I hopefully would have won my top two game as well. So there was actually a really solid chance I won the entire event that day, but I was unfortunately unable to clutch it through due to my inexperience or having played 17 games in a row, or just a little bit of unfortunate of circumstances in the top four game. Unfortunately, it wasn't streamed, so you guys couldn't see it, right? So I've already yapped a lot about my deck list in the JoJo's Hobby House video, so I'll try and link that somewhere up there or down below. And I've also talked a fair bit about my regional Swiss run, as well as what I was my preparations going into the Brisbane Regional Tournament, like last month now with Larry TCG. So you can watch that video, which I'll link somewhere as well. I don't know, my later future edits will do some of that stuff below, or maybe I won't. I just be in the description somewhere because I'm lazy and I haven't content created in a long time. Importantly, well, let's talk about this Koala deck list, right? So I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I'm going to try and cover as much as I can in my own video because I didn't make my own video for a long time because I was covering my own deck list with JoJo's and Larry, but I wanted to make my own video because, again, I have my own channel, right? And it's I want to talk about it myself. So, of course, we were playing Koala, and walking into OP12, I was trying to play a lot of Blippable Sanji, and my list, let me see, is it probably this one? Yeah, I was trying a variety of things. This was the New Zealand Dofi list, the sort of Dofi versus nothing combo list I was playing with. But before that, I was playing a more traditional list. I was running Yusa Hachi here. I was trying this, but it was pretty terrible. Honestly, this isn't the list I have in person. But basically, my list in person looks a bit closer to this, with no Dofis and less Resonantes. I was running things like Magellan as well, prepping for the next set. More Reiju blockers, bit more events, maybe two of these, right? A bit less of this, all that sort of stuff. I think this is pretty standard Sanji. Oh, I was running the Jozu package. You either ran a bit more removal or you ran a bit more of like the tankiness with the Don restands and having infinite events, right? You're sort of cosplaying Blippable Luffy. Well, you are the same sort of color scheme. I was trying to play this at the regional, most of OP12 actually, but I think I was talking to Larry. I don't know if he cut it off or not because I was talking too much. But this deck became it had a few major weaknesses into Bonnie, which I was thinking was going to be very prevalent at the regional, especially because there's a few notable Bonnie players in Oceania and Australia, right? And when you run the Jozu build with Sanji, it was like the Bonnie matchup was okay, but you need to see Jozu like consistently, and it just like it always felt really bad because your main win condition, this Sanji, was permanently rested, frozen by carrot, stuff like that. You pretty much could never swing with this character, right? Which is a big part of this deck's game plan. Um, Also, another reason why I didn't play this in the end was this deck, like it was really fun to play in person, by the way, but it requires a lot of brain cells to pilot all the time. Like every turn, you're making big decisions: what to search for, what's a bottom deck. You need to remember your first few searches because you might make it back around in the end, right? Um, and it's like a very mentally taxing thing. You're making a lot of decisions, right? You're not playing one of those easy brainless decks where you're playing, where you're playing Shanks and now, UP Luffy. You're just playing big body on big body on big body on repeat, right? There's no like curve out game plan, right? You maybe trying to curve out with this and this, establish your early Sanji, Reiju blocker, Rossi, but besides those, it's like you're trying to play for events and like hand filtering and having optimal counter and making sure your board never dies, right, the whole game. And it's when you're playing a lot of games in a row, 9 games in Swiss, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to make top four at all, top 16. So I wasn't thinking I would play an extra 8, 9 games that day. So, but even then, at 9 games, this deck is a little too much mentally. There's like a lot of mental stacks to think about. I'm a fighting game player personally, so I'm actually pretty used to playing for Well, actually, fighting games isn't a good example because we play pretty short sets, but you would play games throughout like an 8, like if you want to mean like you'd be playing from 9 a.m. all the way to like 5, 6 p.m. in bracket, right? And I'm pretty used to that sort of stuff, so I know like mental taxes, mental stacks is like a very big part of playing tournament play. And Sanji was like just a little too difficult for me, right? I don't think it was too difficult for me, but if I wanted to maximize my chances of like placing well at that regional specifically, I need to have a better idea. And I was playing with a bunch of other things, but I ended up setting with blue yellow, a black yellow koala, right? So this is my top 4 list. Again, right, for me, I think I talked about in Larry TCG's video about my thoughts about this leader. When it first came out, we all thought it was pretty awesome. Then when I started playing it, it ended up being pretty dog shit, right? And then I saw some lists from European lists, Japanese lists, some inspirations here and there, and I went like, oh my god, this deck is actually functioning. And when I played it again, I was really surprised at how hard I was smurfing people online and how hard I was winning so many locals events, right? Like as long even some bad matchups, I can occasionally hustle them. And if you win your bad matchups on a rogue deck, like if you can hustle your bad matchups on a rogue deck, especially due to lack of knowledge, it's like really easy to like sneak in wins and locally and whatever, right? So the second wins locally, so I was gonna bring this to regionals, and was just going to go like maybe X3, X4 at worst, right? And come top 64, hopefully, I'll probably come on top 128 because I'm a pretty solid player, I think. So it's like I was walking into the regional thinking I'll place top 128, top 64 if I was lucky, and call it a day, right? But I ended up hustling the whole way. So let's talk about. I won't talk about matchups anymore because I talked about that with Larry already, but we'll go through my deck list again. So of course you're running Revolutionary Army, a leader. This leader is actually also Dressrosa, so you can run Colosseum. But having actually played the Colosseum build, it's really bad because you don't ever get to use your leader skill, the part where you draw cards. And the card draw on this leader is very important. It's a very key part of why this leader is so tanky and stays alive for so long. Not just healing, because your healing is like card minus, right? What makes this leader strong is the fact that you refund all your cards in the long run. So you have to survive the long run, right? You're kind of like you kind of like budget UP Luffy with different colors with a different color scheme. Right, so you're running the two Revolution Army searches, the 4 koalas and the 4 captains assembled. Right, these are obviously pretty important for this deck because it trashes the other 2 cards to put in your bin for dragon later. Right, it's pretty important to have at least one searcher. You want to try to mulligan for a searcher if you can, unless you have a really good hand. Right, but even if you have a really good hand or a perfect hand that game, that's probably like unless you have that, you probably want to have at least 1 or 2 searches. Right, 2 searches is obviously ideal. You want to take second almost all the time unless you're versing Purple Luffy. Right, so there's the 2 searches. I'm just talking about the 2K counter package immediately, actually. So 2K counters is the Bello Betty. I was running one Morley like in person because I had the release event Morley. But honestly, this could be anything. Like whatever 2K counter you prefer. I think Morley is actually more useful than Bello Betty. I only played Bello Betty out a single time versus in the Kuzan matchup, which wasn't even at regionals, right? But the -2 cost and putting 2 cards in your trash is like kind of comes up sometimes if you go first, because if you miss a searcher, right, you need some more cards in your bin for dragon, it's okay. But also you can occasionally KO a 7 cost with this Nami combo we'll talk about a bit later. Right. That's like it came up once when I was versing Kuzan. So that like it comes up, but again, this could be whatever you like really. Hack is the star of the show, honestly. It's like you want to play this on 4 and 5 down almost all the time. It is just such an incredible clutch card. It's like the more balanced version of Lucky Roo, but it's more evasive. Right? A lot of things like that. Um, you need to see this a lot in your Rayleigh matchups and your aggro matchups. In fact, if you're versing Rayleigh, you want to see this card more often than Robin and Kuma. It's actually better to revive this and this because it's essentially negates 2 attacks, right? You're blocking 1 attack and then you remove another part of the board, and Rayleigh can't even play any 5 cost or overs, right? So this will KO clear anything they play. Um, I was running this Karasu and Sabo. I would honestly like one of each just for experiment. They're both searchable, and when they go in your bin, they're not really dead cards either. I would say a lot of times this is 1K counter fodder unless you saw them on curve, especially Karasu. Karasu, this card came up more often than I expected at the regional run, so I'd probably put this as a 2 of in future reference. If you were to go back to an OP12 format ever again, like 12, not 12.5, because this card is actually very powerful versus UP Luffy, versus any yellow decks, versus Kuzan, stuff like that. in the mirror even like it does like if you ever played a mirror like this does a lot for you, right? Actually, like if you can play it on 5. The problem is this leader wants to go second, so you only ever play this card if you're forced to go first, and it pretty much you pretty have no time to play this because once you reach 6 or 7 Dawn, you want to play Kuma or Robin, which have far better effects and sort of like prolong things, right? You pretty much only play this over Robin or Kuma if you're not scared of dying, like ever. If you're in a matchup where you're not scared of dying, tax your hands, which is like NL, Shanks, whatever. Right, Sabo, this came up not very often either. You also don't play this card on curve very often unless you're actually really bricked. It's just more of a card cycle, right? And it's another option to pull back with Dragon if you don't have Robin or Kuma in your bin, right? And if you have Robin, it's like you might want to play Sabo for the hand filter if you're really bricked, or to draw into some counter, right? It's a utility card. It was a really strong utility blocker that every black deck ran, like back in the past, right? Or, like like Sakazuki, Lucci and stuff. And just a one-off is fine, especially because it's searchable in this engine. Right, I like this card personally, but I think you can drop it if you really wanted to yourself because it doesn't come up too often. It just anti-bricks. Although I will say I was expecting like a random Lucci player or something, and versus Lucci, this card is very important for, like to play Dragon into Sabo, especially if they've developed the Tenkos Kuzan. Like I've played a game once against Lucci and they have Tenkos Kuzan down, and I was just behind the whole time, but I was sitting on like 4 or 5 life, right? Because they had to keep KOing my Kuma or else they will die, right? So you play like Dragon Sabo once and then the game's over because they can't clear this, and then like you can attack with Dragon and Sabo and your leader, and they likely die, right? Because like they likely die even if they're through like the Rebecca blocker plus something else, right? Um, so that's that thing. Then we obviously have the goaded 6 drops, right? The Kuma and the Robin. This is the reason you play this deck. You play this on 6 and 8 ideally, right? The Kuma is self-explanatory, the most expensive secret in the set, right? You heal a lot. You go card -1 to heal, and you ideally refund that card back by attacking the leader with your leader. Robin is really important in all the matchups where you need to sort of beat them fast, or just like all matches where they're hoarding resources, right? This is pretty important against UP Luffy, especially because it stays at, unlike Kuma, it stays at 9 cost the whole time, so it can't be bot decked by Mihawk, whereas this can be bot decked by Mihawk after 1 turn. Um, Robin's also like your main weak condition in like the body matchups, the Shanks matchups, the Enel matchups, but you already win. You pretty much already beat every black and yellow deck in the game. Funnily enough, right? So, but still really important card. So I read it as a 3-off because I was expecting a lot of Bonnie players, even though I only played it against single one in the entire regional, and it was in my top 16 match. But this card like very strong versus Bonnie, very strong versus Bonnie Shanks, Enel, Kuzan, blah 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 blah. Pretty good. Um, Although I will say you want to prioritize not playing this card if you're in a matchup where you're gonna die, right? Don't play Robin in the Zoro matchup, for example, the Green Zoro matchup. It's like a hard bait. Them losing 2 cards doesn't do anything. You're gonna die very fast, so you just want to play Kuma and make them clear your Kuma to give you more time. If they don't clear your Kuma, you'll still probably die pretty quickly. Green Zoro's a pretty hard matchup. If they play correctly and if you don't get very lucky, so do be careful about that. Try and prioritize playing Kuma over Robin if you can in matches we're going to die. And then at 8 drop, you're obviously playing Dragon, right? The main win condition of this deck. The main reason this deck is even strong in the first place. The Mini Moria revives the Robin again for more hand destruction, right? Revives the Kuma to heal again, to stabilize and have 2 ACOS on the board, right? Whichever route you're taking. Occasionally, you can play Hack for it. You can play Sabo or probably not Karasu. You're probably playing one of these. Like, you're probably playing one of these 3, and in some matchups, this Nami card, right? So the whole reason why this deck is even functional in the first place is actually this Nami and this Black Vortex. And these 2 cards really saved this deck, I think, right? Sort of these 3 cards here really saved the deck, right? So Nami was, yeah, this is just a starter show. It's like, I think removal is just very slept on, even at this point, ever since the whole Lucci scare and stuff like that, the whole Gecko Moria ban, I think removal has just been like sort of it's not very prevalent because everyone's playing hyper offensive tempo decks, right? Spam big bodies or big aggro. Everyone's just playing the strongest purple deck, right? Honestly, for like the past few sets, it's been like this huge purple meta, this big like just develop too big body meta, stuff like that. Even look, even we're doing that. Even we're playing Dragon Kuma, and a lot of times the too big bodies that we play is like too fast for opponents to deal with, right? Like that's just the reality of this game right now. So when you have removal built in, it's like a lot against like body and something like Dragon into Nami is like really important because even though you're playing a 5/5 body, which is like really weak in some matchups like UP and 6k leaders, right? Like just playing two bodies and remove one of those is like a huge tempo swing, and that like it's like the Kikomoria, Rebecca, Rob Lucci like Spandine Rob Lucci combo, right? Not as strong as that, but you are sort of like it's in that realm of like developing two while negating your opponent's one, right? This is huge in any green matchup if you can do this comfortably like without going 2 card minus and having enough HP to not die, right? And also this deck, like playing an army means you're building your deck around a lot of triggers, which we actually do have some solid triggers in the deck, which most of them are actually black, right? So of course you can trash your events, right? All your events have triggers. Your Black Vortex having a trigger is very important in this Nami, for this Nami, because a lot of times this card will die in your hand in matchups where you don't need a lot of counter, right? And of course you never want to pitch this card versus Green Zoro matchups, but being able to pitch this is very important. It's the only reason why this deck can run 3 or 4 of Black Vortexes comfortably without trolling your deck building, right? Right. It's like because you can pitch it from Nami, and if you hit Nami from your life or your hand, right, especially from your life, it goes in the bin, which means you can revive from Dragon again, so you can use it twice, like pretty easily, if you hit it from your life, right? And it's like it's not that high roll. It's not actually that infeasible to hit that, right? And then your other like really good triggers is obviously your Baby 5, right? Your Tuki Kano Kuma, your occasionally your Blocker Karasu, right? And you have around this list has like 23 triggers, I think, but you can go up a little bit more because I've been running a few tech cards. If you ditch Katakuri and Karasu Sabo, right, you can fit more triggers in. You can ditch the ace as well, right? This is all these sort of route deck builders you can take. Right, I was running 2 ace and 1 Katakuri as like my other tech cards that I was playing, the alternative to Dragon tech cards. Katakuri came up only a single time the entire day at regionals, but it did win me that game, I think, like pretty convincingly. This was my read in the meta, like because I was struggling, like I was thinking you basically leader skill your opponent whenever they play an A cost or higher. Anything they play that's A cost or lower that you can't deal with, you can Katakuri them to the life, which they will eventually take right from the leader skill. So it's like it actually does a lot for you, and I was thinking of maybe run more categories, but honestly, most of the time playing Dragon is just better. Like instead of removing your opponent's board, selling 2 bodies and healing is like most of the time better. This only comes up against body matchup, right? Pretty much. Like you're trying to life the Eustace Kid or the ACOS Bonnies, right? And a lot of Bonnie players aren't running more than one or two kids anymore because they're running Mihawks. So this came up like a lot. This comes up a lot in Bonnie matchup and like in the Shanks matchup if they're playing 7 cost Newgate or some shit, right? Because you have no way to deal with 7 cost Newgate really. So like this is like really important, but honestly, I only ran a one of it and only came up a single time. But the time it came up was really really impactful. So I would probably drop this in the future. In fact, I did drop it in the future. Tekos Ace was my other like idea. I was just thinking of more ways to heal consistently because this went card minus and technically so does this. Right, but Tekos Ace is like it's like a slightly bigger body you can swing with, really important in against 6k leaders as well. Being able to you can usually like key part as leader is swinging at the opponent. It's like chipping down your opponent by swinging at the leader with chip damage, right? You're trying to poke your opponent's leader a lot, and they're going to have to counter eventually because they're taking so much life pressure from your leader skill and the fact that you're poking at them for 5 all the time. And then so a lot of times you want to poke the leader and then pivot to board. Right, and Ace is really good at doing that actually, because you swing 5 of your leader to draw a card, ideally, or if not, you can play this first, have a dragon already on board and draw a card from this, and then if they counter out of the leader, well, if they don't counter out of the leader, then you just try and lethal them and tax their whole hand. And if they do counter out, you can pivot to board, right? So you swing 5 at the leader, and then you swing 8 at like the 6k, 7k body, and then you swing 10 at the 6k, 7k body, then you can usually clear it, and then you're sitting on 2 life usually. 2 life, no Don up, which is a little scary if you're stuck with Whacking Fist and Black Vortex, but you can usually survive on 2 life if your opponent's board is sufficiently cleared. Alright, so that was like my little read in the meta. I thought Ace came up like a pretty decent amount of times. Um, like as a total way to heal, especially if I have like no more dragons or Kumas in my hand, right? Because I've like pitched them all like throughout the course of the game. Whereas this like it was like honestly this card came up surprisingly often. And most of my opponents who who saw me that day told me they weren't expecting this card to come out, right? Of course. So yeah, I would say very, very useful. And of course, like Black Vortex, we talked about this a lot. I've talked about this with Joseph and Larry TCG. This is like the star of the show, and honestly, a must include in any future partial black deck moving forwards, including Red Black Sabo, which I'll be playing. Um, yeah, like it does. It's like the Weekend Edition versus Green Zoro. It shits on a lot of other things. You can cheese a lot of people. You can cheese people like by negating the 5 cost Resonante that you Luffy plays, so they can't resend 2 Don. So you can like lethal them easier the next turn. I've used this notoriously versus Blackbeard in my top 8 game to negate his leader skill to be able to play Dragon Takuma to win the game. Right, you can do a lot of like fancy things with this card. Right, more things than you can think. You can disable Roger's Rush if they don't attack Roger first. You can disable like Tenko's Shanks and Tenko's Roger in the Shanks matchup. Very important in the future as well. Right, and then this is like a little Rad Beam deck. Right, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you have more questions, you can ask me, DM me, something like that. I've already gotten a lot of questions about my koala list from my friends and peers and people from the Prison Regional, so I'm very thankful for your continued support. Right, so the next thing I want to talk about is I was playing a lot of koala in PRB02 as well, obviously. My list looks something like this. Right, so I was playing a lot of koala in PRB02. It's a lot harder actually. I haven't played in any PRB02 format regional events because there honestly isn't very many, and I didn't want to play on the online because I was pretty busy with some real life stuff. But I was playing this at locals a few times, and I've come second a few times. I won like once maybe at locals, but uh, GP Luffy and RGSmoker being very prevalent this format means that like this deck is a lot harder to play. So I've actually catered. So you got this new card in PRB, which is very useful in the Green Zoro matchup. It's actually made Green Zoro like very, very manageable now because if you whiff like a koala or cast a symbol search, or this card ends up in your bin somehow through a trigger, or just you ditching it with like Robin's effect, you can bring this back with Dragon to stun the Green Zoro leader like every second turn, so that you basically can't die, right? And it also adds an extra trigger for your Nami to pitch, right? Honestly, a lot of times you want to play Nami over Boa if you have both options, but like this is a counter, so you might need to pitch it sometimes. And this can sort of like sort of pseudo removal, right? The not being able to stun not being able to stun Luffy is pretty annoying, but honestly, it's because you're only playing this card for the Zoro matchup, for the Zoro matchup specifically, like it's not too problematic, and you're usually stunning like a 9 cost 10 cost body if you're not playing it in a Green Zoro matchup. Right. I also went down in Robin blockers because I found this card actually bricks really often, especially in the RGSmoker dominant meta, right? Because Mole Pistol removes this card immediately, and yeah, actually that's it. Mole Pistol destroying this card and getting no future value makes this card a lot less desirable to play. Um, There's also a lot less people playing playing the slower decks in the PRB format because everyone's playing GP, everyone's playing RGSmoker, everyone's playing something that gets around those 2 matchups. Right, so I can't really remember. I think there's like yeah, everyone's playing Blue Yellow Nami as well. Blue Yellow Nami, this is kind of good into Blue Yellow Nami. Don't get me wrong, but honestly, that matchup is completely free anyway in this deck. Right, so you don't really care about Blue Yellow Nami. That deck is completely free, honestly. You want to play a lot of 8 costs and stuff, and you just leader skill them. You don't even get to leader skill very often. You play Dragon Kuma. They only play Bleed Number only plays 1 body per turn. They can't remove anything you play because everything you play is like 8 cost. Right? What can they do? So so this is the main PRB card. Again, yeah, I've already talked about it. The other PRB card that was really prevalent was Sabo, the counter. Right? I thought this would be really good, but it's honestly what's really sad about this card, this counter, is that even though it's dressed as a Revolution Army for this Koala and the Red Black Sabo leader in OP13, it's actually not very good in both those decks. Like, okay, it's good. It's a 2 counter and it's a 3 cost 6k blocker, and then Sabo is a 3 cost 7k blocker. Like occasionally, right? But I find that when you play Koala and Sabo, actually, it's really hard to actually have 15 cards in your bin unless you hit like back to back Koala Captain Symbol searcher triggers or whatever, right? Because a lot of times you will play dragon. Like this is your win condition, right? So it's not like a lot of times you're returning 3 cards and you're returning 4 cards on your grave because you're putting 3 in the bottom of your deck and then you play 1 out a lot of times, right? So it's really hard to like actually have 15 cards in your bin consistently. And not to mention, even if you hit the 15 card threshold, you're playing this card for 3 and then you have 7 done left over. So it means you're probably playing this. Your best line of play for defensively is like this plus this plus 1 Don for this, or this plus whatever you need to do, right? And it's like, it's okay, I guess. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't come up very often for me, right? I was still running these two, but honestly, you can drop Karasu at this point in the game because you're never playing this out versus. You're not playing this out this card safely versus GP Luffy or RGSmoker. You want to try and play this card out all the time to delete the fucking full cost Kobe or like the GZoro Juro that GP Luffy plays, right? I don't even like. I can. You can probably put this away. I don't think this card is also wouldn't see any value anymore. So you could probably put one more of this. But again, I actually didn't play this Sabo out very often myself, and Koala specifically. I think in Red Black Sabo it comes up a little bit more often because you can play this plus a Secret Sabo in the same turn. You can play two high power blockers in the same turn. Right, but in this deck, it actually doesn't come up very often. It's also not 8 cost, right? If it was effectively 8 cost somehow with some condition, this would be like a lot better. But because it's not 8 cost, even when you place Dragon plus Sabo, if you don't already have a Robin on board or something, right? Or if you've been playing Namis and Boas instead, you don't get to card draw for a long time, and that can really hurt your leader. So that's that. That's my opinions on that. It's still, even though I just shit talked this card for a bit, it still overall comes up more often than the Morley and Bella Betty, I would say. So, definitely something to consider. Um, I took away the Katakuris because I mentioned earlier the Katakuri only sees play in the body matchup and the Shanks matchup, in my opinion. If you're not versing those decks very often, it's not very super useful. And Tengo's Ace, I would probably drop to 0 at this point because the bow is usually more useful, especially when the format has like sped up and everyone's playing like like fast tempo decks, right? Like this card, you probably won't be able to play out very safely in this format. But I was still keeping one of it because I like this card personally, and I did win the serial card for this, so I didn't actually put the serial on my deck, but on my physical deck, but I just like this card has like some personal. I have a personal attachment to this card now, right? So I just put one of it in. But honestly, these three are on a chopping block for this deck if you ever want to if you want to make more space for some other options, right? I just like these three cards personally. Um, and the last thing I changed was the Singer Pistol card. So I found the red green smoker matchup to be like pretty unbearable, honestly. Like even when you hit like Nami, even when you Nami, there are 5 cost smokers. Like if they don't play Kushiro or Tashigi with it, right? Even when you do it once, it's still like pretty hard because they're playing 2 bodies out consistently, and you can't hit them very easily because they're playing like 8 cost Mihawk taking a life into 6 cost Law, and you can't touch that, right? It's actually like a pretty hard matchup. So I've actually put in full 2 finger pistols in my deck just to like give it a try to try and high roll your opponents. Right. Sometimes if you're forced to go second and they play a 5 cost smoker down on 5 plus something, right, you can try and remove it with this if you don't hit the Nami, or if you don't like have Kuma in your hand, or even if you have Kuma in your hand, you might want to consider playing this for the removal because if they get Multi-pistol this or this, you're like pretty cooked. You just have no board permanently. Especially, oh my god, especially if they multi from your life and kill your Robin or Kuma, it's like so grim because you don't get the opponent's turn on KO if you hit their life and then they multi this. Like it doesn't heal you, right? You just lose this body. So it's like I was playing this to experiment. Honestly, I'm not really sure. It came up a few times and I did win a few games off. Well, I did like win like 1 or 2 games off playing this, having this card in my hand or in my life, right? It is also a trigger, so you can pitch it with Nami. It doesn't brick, right? And I even went down on Black Vortex to try this card out. I would say you can probably put it in if you remove the Ace, Karasu, or Sabos, right? You can try experiment with more trigger package, right? More Spirals and Finger Pistols, but it is still pretty situational, I would say. Maybe a 2 of at max, I would say. Um, that's really my thoughts about PRB Koala. It's okay, playable at a local level, I would say, but if I brought this at a regional level, I probably wouldn't go top 4 again. Like, I probably wouldn't go top 64 even. It might be pretty difficult if you verse back-to-back Red Green Smoker players. But I will say the matchup against Green Zoro being a lot better because of this card has made me like pick up a bit of steam from this deck. Um, but Green Zoro isn't really popular, honestly. Even though it is like a stupidly strong deck, just because it's so boring to play. Everyone I talk to about Green Zoro says it's boring as hell. Right, I agree. It's such a degenerate, unfun deck to play and verse. So that's for your opinion to make, I suppose. Right, and then lastly, we will talk a little bit about Koala and OP13, I suppose. Like, it's so unplayable. Like, it doesn't matter that take life. Like, every leader next set in OP13, honestly, like even UP Luffy can sit on 0 life the entire game and be completely safe because they're just so tanky. They have they have so much event counter. Right. I actually think your best matchup at OP13 is actually Emu because they actually go to 0 life pretty fast. If they play at this moment, ideally they go to 0 life the moment they play down their first 10 cost 5 elders from your leader skill, right? And you can hit them twice with like your established dragon plus Robin or dragon plus Kuma, and they'll have to give you 2 blockers and hopefully some of their never existed counter events, right? The Emu is actually the strongest matchup in OP13, I think, because every other leader is like unplayable. They're all like 7k, 6k leaders, and your tallest body is 8k, and they're all playing like a billion counter events. They're all like 8k leaders occasionally, 9k leaders sometimes, right? It's really hard. In the OP13, it's like you're going back up to this because people are playing more card hoarding decks. I also went down a Nami because I'm thinking the trigger package isn't as useful anymore. Just because there's a lot less more anti-removal, especially if Emu's really prevalent. Like this card has 0 value, right? And even in Ace matchup, it's like you're only touching their Mako Blocker or their 5 Yamato with this card. And Mako Blocker, it's like they're still drawing 2 cards, sometimes 3 off it, and the Yamato is like a sort of a whatever 5/6 that you don't really care about because their on play is the strongest part about that card, not really the future effect, right? So I went down on this, but you still need a few triggers in your deck. Stussy is obviously like a must-have in the OP13 if you are insistent on playing this deck. But I would honestly just play Red Black Sabo next set, which I am going to, right? But Stussy is really important in any future black deck moving forwards, just because you're trying to remove all the 10 costs that they spam out for free. Um, Black Vortex still necessary, right? I would say, especially because Green Zoro is still strong. Um, I took out the PRB Boa because I really don't think it sees much play. It also dies very easily to this card, which we now play as well, right? So, this card is very interesting. It's actually I saw it in some red black Sabo lists. Very actually awesome utility blocker that can't be removed easily. Um, and also you're playing it off dragon. It's the same thing with the dragon Nami combo. It's the same idea. It hits a base cost as well, so pretty important against matchups that you probably won't even verse anymore. But they're both 5k stat lines, but this is a 6 cost and isn't removable. It also doesn't go card -2. Actually, no, sorry, it does. It goes card -2, but it doesn't need to be a trigger anymore. So you don't need to build your whole half your deck around the trigger package. It's pretty nice, right? And that's also why I went down to Nami. I can justify it. Um, yeah, Dragon into Saint Mars is actually low key like not bad in certain matchups. I'm experimenting with 1 6 cost Sabo, but as I mentioned earlier, I think this card is. Oh, actually, no, I haven't mentioned that. I think the OP13 cards for Koala don't really work. So if we open yellow and black, right? So all the black cards are all support for Emu, right? Minus like these vanilla cards, this like Terry Guilty 6 ticket counter, a hack ticket counter. Some lists are running this for some reason. I don't really get it. I just play this or this. Honestly, like you're not gonna be that brick. Let's be honest. Some lists are running this even, but this is better in red like Sabo because you don't really care about the Don card from your leader. This Sabo is for the same reason as this. I don't actually love this card very much in Koala because in Sabo it's fantastic. It's a 6 cost 8k blocker, right? And you give it Dawn to your leader, so you're permanently 8k blocker and a 6k leader, right? But on Koala, the Dawn doesn't do anything. It lets you swing. It lets you freely swing at UP, blue purple Luffy players and any 6k leaders, which is pretty nice, right? But this is only a 7k blocker in this deck, right? And whereas Robin is also a 6/7 blocker and has a pretty powerful, devastating like hand destruction effect, right? So most of the time, I think Robin is just better than Sabo in the Koala deck specifically because Sabo can't play this card, but Koala can, right? Well, okay, Sabo can play this card, but it's not a blocker, and it doesn't have +3 cost, so it's like not as useful, right? Whereas this is useful in Sabo, whereas this is more useful in Koala. And in Koala, this card doesn't see. I feel like is not as strong as this card most of the time. It's also a brick, right? Whereas you need to run like other bricks like Dragon and Stussy. So yeah, it's like a 1 or 2 of a max. I'm actually not in love with this card, right? Sadly. And then the yellow card is like all Egghead stuff, and honestly, yeah, you can't really use any of this stuff. This is Egghead. This is for Egghead. This stuff is like all tailored to their specific decks, right? Bunch of vanillas. This card is like interesting, but like honestly really only playable in the Bonnie leader. Uh, yeah, look, like it's kind of grim. Let's be honest. So I'm not really loving Koala OP13, honestly. I'm just gonna play Red Black Sabo. And even Red Black Sabo isn't like super fantastic if you don't draw into the card you need to play every turn. I don't think it's very playable in the future. The leader effect is very unique. Don't get me wrong. Like I do think it's quite strong into some of the future OP13 leaders because they damage themselves for you, so you don't really care about not doing damage to them. You just swing 5 at the leader to draw a card. But in saying that, everyone's playing like 10 cost 12Ks, like 9 cost 10Ks, 9 cost 9Ks. It's really hard to compete when they can survive on 0 life, and your tallest body is like a 8K, 9K. That's like, yeah, and you have to you have to like play off curve to just to be able to attack your leader, right? It's very grim. The power creep of this game is just very, very grim. And like your best gimmick is like Sussy, which every black deck plays, and like Dragon Robin, which is okay, don't get me wrong, but like Sabo does the same thing. So without further ado, right, I'm going to play a game of the sim and showcase my thought process playing this leader and some of the meta relevant leaders. I'm a big fan of VV Theory, so shout out to VV Theory as well. So I'm going to try and be a bit similar style of gameplay to him, but also like a bit different because how I think is different to him. Alright, so here I'm versing a RGSmoker player because I see this everywhere. Everyone's playing the Law and Kobe. I would try and take first from this leader whenever I can. No Searcher in hands, and this hand is not terrible, but no Dragon, no Searcher can be pretty dicey. So I'm just gonna mulligan. Alright, well this hand is pretty bad, but we'll see how it go. No Searcher, you want to try and see a 5 cost or a hack pretty soon. So maybe I should have kept my last hand. I just really wanted to see a fucking Searcher in my top 5 cards twice. This is so grim. So you can swing 8 at leader here, but I technically want to swing like 6 or whatever to see if they counter. Because if you swing 8, they definitely take the hit. Right. But I'm in no rush to kill him because honestly, you can't kill him that quickly. So we're just gonna leave 2 on up randomly because to bluff like Vortex for no reason. And this is pretty annoying. We can put this in our bin because we already have one, so let's just do that. We don't want to go too low too quickly because we can die pretty fast. See, Kobe is pretty annoying. We need to really have hack at this point. Okay, no hack. Okay, well, we're just going to finger pistol it. Unlucky. So, swing 5 here. You don't give him this card draw. Boom. Okay. Just put a Kuma and a Binners again. So you have 3 ref armies. 1, 2, 3. Should be fine. They play the Law. Pretty standard gameplay, honestly. If they see Law multiple times, you pretty much can't do anything. Right? You just have to, like, weather the storm, which is really hard. Right, I kind of want to counter, but, like, I'm a little bricked. Nah, let's take it. Okay, useless. Sure. We're just gonna pitch this with like Robin. Okay, so we have a Robin or Kuma play. If I play Robin gets value here, but if he has Morpher still, it's doom. It's doomed. He also has this on board already, so it's not gonna block free block. So we're just gonna play this actually and trash this. So here we're just gonna swing. Just gonna poke a 6. Now let's poke 5. See what happens. Hopefully we have like a. Oh, actually, we can't draw to any 1 cost this turn. Doesn't really matter. They played this. They countered, which makes me want to play this more. But, fuck. Nah, fuck this guy. He doesn't have Mole Pistol. Let's just play this. He pitched 2 Mihawks. Okay, that's pretty standard. Okay, I just have to hope he has no Mole Pistol, to be honest. Okay, leader skill here, I think. I want to try pressure him from playing this. He hit 3 Mihawks. Interesting. Oh, nice. Very standard. 8-5 into restand 3. Okay, if I free block, he goes 7 at 5. That's actually so grim. Nah. Oh, easy peasy. Never punished. I think I still... I can't really take this safely. So I think we counter these 2 so we can revive Nami to kill this if we need to. So we have an 8 cost on board. So yeah, I think we're going to do that. We're going to play this and to return 1, 2, 3. We're going to play one of the Kumas later. We're going to play this, pitch this to kill this. Draw the card back, nice. And we're going to poke to draw another card. It's a brick, unfortunately. He free blocks. I don't want to swing here. Actually, maybe I should. But he just uses his vent. No, he's going to take. he takes, I have a blocker still, but he's gonna swing 7 at 5 and I lose it for sure. Ah. Interesting. He's on DMG, both my blockers. He can actually kill me this turn if I don't hit a good trigger. That's pretty crazy. How crazy is that? I've been so defensive and I could die right here. 4 life leaders, man. I also didn't heal, which is like because I've been playing more offensively with the Robin and the. Okay, well, he doesn't know. He just looted my Karasu. Okay, he doesn't know what he's doing. Unfortunate. He almost could have won the game. Okay, I have 5 hit counter, so maybe not, but like I could have been pretty close. If he just swings out, it's like really hard. I think we take the 7. It's potentially like 799 though. Now we take it. Okay, perfect. Look at that. No trigger. You need to keep this card, especially when I'm already bluffing 1 Don the whole time. We're gonna counter this though. We're gonna counter this plus this. Keep the trigger in your hand in case you hit Nami triggers. Alright. So I pitch this one, because I'm not gonna play it out. I'm playing Dragon. Because I need a Dragon to revive the Kuma. Okay, well. Exactly 8. Not bad. So that's interesting. What Uchi's doing here is interesting, because he could die here. Okay. So these 3 restand. I could take the hit because I feel like I could win next turn, but nah, let's just save a little bit. So here, do we just poke 5? We just poke 7. Ah, he just dies. Let's not overthink it. You should just die here. Let's be honest. Okay. Sure. He's just dead. Draw a card. Nice. Sure. Interesting. Okay, that wasn't a very good game. So let's try and find another one. You would want to try and take first versus Zoro, I find. So I'm gonna try and play second anyway. Yeah, let's just see how it goes. You want to take first versus Zoro because the Shigi on curve is so oppressive. Let's just try and take second for educational purposes. We have a boa in our hand, which is perfect. Okay, 1 Don, we have Searcher and boa. Oh, easy peasy. We even get to hit us Kyori after this. So okay, well we need to get counter events. I think even if this was not a whiff, like a 2 counter, you would grab counter event anyway, because you want as much counter versus this deck as you can. Versus these decks that can kill you tall, you want as much counter as you can in your hand. He's sticking for a while for some reason. He's probably gonna search of this into 7. Or he plays like Koshiro and swings 5. But that's like trolling on his part. Paradise Waterfall. 6? That's a bit annoying. Okay, 7. Yeah, I'll take that one. Oh, easy. Never punished. Okay, then we swing 2 here into hack if I have it. If I don't have hack, then I just cry and kill myself, I guess. I won't have a hack here. There's no point playing this card out, by the way. Like, he's gonna remove it if you play it, because he's gonna rest it down and kill it. So if it's not a high value on play card against this deck, don't play it, right? Because hack is on chaos. Okay, I don't have it, so we're just going to swing here. Again, same thing as last time. I'm not really going to kill Zoro quickly. He's going to kill us quickly. So we don't need to load. If we're bricked, we don't need to load all 9 here and swing it leader. There's no point, right? He's going to take it for like guaranteed. So you just swing 5 or 6 and see if he pitches. Why is he taking forever? Okay, I'm just gonna swing 5. I want to try and make him pitch a card. Okay, he didn't. Unlucky. Oh, we're passing a 4 on up. How sad. Okay, another search. No Tashigi on curve. Not that it's useful here, but you're still developing a 2-cost 7k, right? Okay, that's Tashigi. Interesting. Okay, no, he can do it for free, so that's fine. I'm gonna 2 life here. Should be fine. We can stun his leader. If we don't have, we can play Kuma or stun his leader. Maybe we play. He did not restand his leader. Okay. I think I leave this game. Okay, well let's just poke him first. think I actually play Kumo Dragon. If I stun him, then he can't play Tashigi and kill my bow. I think maybe that's a better line. Okay. Do I have a Kumo in my bin? I don't. If I play Kumo, he plays Tashigi, kills my Kumo. If I play this, should be fine. Okay. So I think we're actually going to play... We're going to play Boa and trashing the dragon. That seems so troll. Nah, let's surely pitch this. Let's pitch this. Because I'm playing dragon into that next turn. Okay. Wait, I can't. It has to be a trigger. I'm stupid. Okay, it's this. Okay. Interesting. I see. Okay, well, I have the problem where now I have no targets in my bin to revive. So I think I just do a search and hard play this. It's kind of sad. Oh, grim. Okay, I am hard playing this. All right. Am I playing the dragon? No, I need to play dragon twice, I think. So I'm trying to revive twice. So we just play this into that. So here we'll swing 5 into 7. He's at a point where he needs to start countering, because if he takes the 5, and he has to like counter the 7, right? And or he sits on 1 life, which is a little frisky for next turn. Okay, he's blocking. Interesting. I think we ditch this. Yeah. Plays Tashigi here to rest this probably, and kills this instead of this. Should be okay. We can play like Dragon into Boa next turn to stun this leader. Okay. I can play this and Tashigi? Okay, well if he's doing that, I can actually counter. There's the hack. Okay, well my Boa didn't die. He has to Kushura, so let's see if we can try and get rid of it. See, if he blocks with Kushura, okay, well, he's actually trolling, but like, he knows I have like these removal in my bin that can revive out. Okay, he's not gonna counter? Interesting. Very stubborn person. Okay, he's 0 cost evented. That is a little bit unideal. Wait, I actually don't have 2 ACOS on board. I can't even draw a card off this. This is really sad. Alright, chat. Am I playing Dragon into Koala Searcher? Is that like how sad my life is? I have nothing useful in my grave! Because I can't play Nami because of this card. They're both slash. I guess I just played Dragon Nami and KO this guy. Like, I think that's just the best play. That is so sad. Okay. Well, I think what we do here is we just swing 7. Hope he gives us a blocker. Okay, he's smart. Boom. 1, 2, 3. We just play. Good card -2 though. Nah, it's worth it. We'll just play this, get rid of this, and I'm just gonna say I don't die this turn. I shouldn't. He has like 4 swings potentially. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have like 7k counter plus 3 life. Should be able to die. Okay. That is a little scary, but I'll probably let all of these go. Because he's not playing a blocker this turn, by the looks of it. Okay, I will let all but 2 bodies go. Interesting. Yeah, that's probably 10's probably his highest swing. Can we stand 2 of this and swing another like 10 or something? But should be fine. We'll let this go, and we'll see if he swings into this. Only 6? Alright, well I'm pitching then. I have to commit a lot more to this guy or this guy. Okay, sure. Okay, sure. I think he dies? I think he's just dead? He has 2 Don up, so you can like event counter +2. Get out of this. Then it's a little dicey if there's another event counter. We'll see what it is. Yes, that's one event counter. 2k. So am I playing Dragon into Boa? If I Dragon Boa, I still die actually. I need to win this turn. Dragon Nami doesn't get me out. I actually need to win this turn. That's kind of dicey. It's 9, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 10, 11. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 8, 10, 12. So he can get out of it if he has the counter. Oh, he didn't. I see. He was actually got a 2k from life. It looks of it. Yeah, because he must have had this, which I had 2 done up. I forgot he had Paradise Waterfall earlier. Actually, I totally forgot to consider that. Okay, well we'll try and play one OP13 game. And call it a day. Those aren't the most high quality games, but it's honestly what you have to expect from It's sort of what you have to expect from sim players sometimes. Like, not to shut on any individual person, but you know, playing on a sim is you get a variety of experiences. I should say you can play ranked, but I prefer to just pick what I want to verse personally because I quickly usually play 1 or 2 games and I quickly go back to deck building to see what's wrong, and I just want to verse the same leaders on repeat, the same problem leaders on repeat. So there's that. Okay, so we want to not see Stussy. Okay, my hand is like a lot better. This is very important in this matchup. I'm trying to find all the pieces. I whiffed. Awesome. It's somewhat unlikely to whiff, but I think because I put in Stussy and St. Mars, the whiff percentage has gone up a little bit because you're only top 3. But Nami in your bin isn't so bad in most matchups. It is pretty bad in this matchup though. Oh my god, he already has 7 cards in this bin. What a great deck. What a fantastic, awesome deck. Okay, so this 1, 2. We can do another. I want the dragon though. Let's get this. It's guaranteed safety. Normally I wouldn't swing 6, but this is a matchup we need to win quickly in. So you want to tax as many 2Ks as possible. Oh, many good counters. He probably plays like Walkery or something here. Well, we just take. We're not too scared. Unfortunately, Nami Trigger is not useful. You already have 7 cards in this bin. They really should not have said 7 cards in bin. It should have been like at least 15, I feel like. Yeah, well, there's Walkery, as expected. I have no use for them to play. This is when like Karasu would be very clutch. Okay. Or we just play the hack, I think. So I'm not gonna swing 9. Like that's like a waste of turn. We're just gonna play this and develop an 8 cost on the board. Oh, but freaking Mask can KO this. This is original cost. Pretty sad. That's right. If he doesn't KO this, he can draw a card next turn. So it's still important to play this card out. And I'm not gonna block with it. I think I counter with Nami. The card is dead in this matchup. We saw all 3 Namis in this list. He has Mars. Unlucky. Can't carry anything. Lol. XD. He has 3 cards in okay. No, unlucky. One short. Oh, the Sabo here. This actually isn't bad, because he's out of Robin range right now. So I think we just play this and swing 7 at this guy, so he doesn't get recurring value. It's hard to say. He has 2 block. It doesn't matter if I attack his leader or not. Honestly. Just clear his board. Try and play Robin next turn. Actually, I can't pitch it. I can't ditch this card from my hand, which is really annoying. But I also wanted to develop this, because he wasn't in range for Robin. What's he doing? He cycled a card. Okay. He's playing 3 for something. Probably leaving events up. 7. Just block 1k. He's probably not swinging with this, let's be honest. Oh, he is. Well, I gotta protect that. 2, 1. Try and pitch the Kuma over Baby 5 because it's Rev Army type in your grave. I don't have anything useful to revive Kuma. I could also just hard play Robin, which might not be bad. Nah, I really want the dragon this turn, because he's going to play 10 cost now, so let's just do that. 1, 2, 3. Play Kuma. With this, I'm going to ditch. Might save the Robin. Yeah, for next turn. Then we do this here. I'm going to swing at this, draw a card, and then I'm going to swing this here. He's pitching? You could save this with his Donna, honestly. Yeah, never existed. Nice card. Yeah, I didn't bother swinging 8 because of this card. It's better to just swing 7 and hope you draw it to Waxing Fist in real life. No, he's 5 Elders in here for sure. Draws a card first from it. Leader skill. It's the first time he's taking damage. What a crazy deck. He's gonna swing at this. My Sabo's dead actually. It looks like we really need to take second in this matchup. It's actually really hard otherwise. I just told him I didn't have the event basically. by letting that card go. Interesting. If I play Robin, can I live? Do I need to play Dragon Kuma? He has 5 bodies on board, honestly. Like what? No, we just need to clear this guy. See, he pitches his whole hand to save it. No, that's Valkyrie. I think it's like Robin into attach Dawn. Maybe pitching that was maybe I should pitch Dragon. It's hard to say. I'll poke his leader first. Bad sequencing actually. You can actually take this very safely, but he probably won't. See if he gives me a card. I think I just lose the game. This deck is crazy. Nah, Koala weak deck. What was my major misplay? I just played on curve and I died, I feel like. I didn't really do anything. Ah, dead card. 2-1. I mean, look, if he has the thing, if he has another rush, if he has 10 Elders, I just concede. There's actually no point in playing. He's at 3 life steal. I can't do anything. Oh, okay. He has 5 Elders. Nah, just no point in playing the game. That game is lost. All right, let's try and play this one. This is. Holy, my hand got worse. Going first against this matchup is actually so grim. Okay, maybe I take back what I said about Koala being good into emo. It's actually terrible. Holy moly. 7 cards in bin from a single search. Oh, he has 2. Event Searcher. He's already got 7 cards in bin. I can't even remove this with Nami. How sad. Just play hack and pass. How grim. What? Okay, just pitched it for 1k counter. Holy moly, relax, boss. So I could have actually killed that with hack, but I don't think it's worth. Alright, it's definitely Koala into Robin this turn. Okay, well, we have the Robin. What am I pitching? The Stussy. Yeah, of course. That's not even a question. We're gonna attack with hack. Because this probably gets cleared by Mars. St. Roswald. What the hell? And then GZoro. Okay. Stuck with 2 event searches in my hand, which is kind of annoying. Damn, we're playing Jupiter. We're playing Jupiter without 10 Elders. Okay, well, no Mars is pretty good. Well, if I block, he swings 7/7 at this and this. Nah, it's fine. I have enough counter. I can pitch these two. They're pretty useless. Let that go. I'm gonna turn your blocker sideways against this. Do I have enough cards in the grave? I don't. I need to play this once. Grab this 2k, then we have 1, 2, 3. It's kind of feels bad to play that, but like, I feel like I just have no choice. Just play this, or pitch Mars. Yeah, pitch Nami. Don't give him the info. I want to swing here, but like, I want to draw a card as well. And he probably blocks either way, so I just swing with his leader. And then I think about whether I turn this sideways. Pitch never existed, which is pretty interesting. Alright, so if I attack this, he probably draws a card. But if I don't attack it, he's an extra 5k swing. Nah, it's fine. It's playing 10 Elders here anyway, right? Wait, it's a 7k swing, never mind. Jupiter's pretty scary. This Emu deck is actually insane. 19 cards on bin already. Ugh. Consider free blocking, but that's probably his lowest swing. Maybe I counter 2k and hope he attacks into my Robin instead, to release some pressure. Maybe I just take and say I can't die behind 2 blockers. Can I kill him next turn? Unlikely. We'll try it. Nah, can't even use it. How sad. Okay, well, I think it's time to block and let him attack into it. He doesn't care? Alright. I think I just take. See what it is. Sad. 1, 2. I don't have dragon in my hand anyway, but I don't have enough for a dragon play. I just need to take second instead. Just need to take second. Oh shit, I shouldn't have cleared no blocker. It's grim. I just showed him I have no 2Ks. Oh no. It's grim. Wait. He has no Mars. Could be winnable. Nah, let's be honest. He probably has like double counter event. Even with 1 blocker, he walk or draw. He probably lives pretty comfortably. It's a sad reality of the situation here. Okay, so how do I actually play for 1 more turn? Let's be honest. I'm playing this plus this. This plus this. No, I need to have a counter in my hand. So it's like heal plus sit on defense. Okay. Actually, bad sequence. I should have swung with leader first. Oh, never mind. He let it go. That's big. Okay, so now we use this first. Oh, good. Double event counters, that's 2. We play Koala. Oh, I don't want to see that. No, I can't play Dragon, it's too greedy. Just grab this and search again. No, I don't think we can search again. So we need to play this. So we just play this, ditch this, and pass. Play this, ditch this, pass. I hope we somehow don't die. Oh my god. It's so atrocious. And if he plays 10 Elders, he goes to 0 life, and then I hope I can kill him next. No blocker, 2-1. Honestly, I think I'd die here, no matter what. Wasn't a 2k or cross the trigger? Do I have to, like, wait. Why is he attacking like this? Is this like his best angle? Ten Elders? Rush? He's playing 10 Elders here, right? He's pretty big. I see. He did not search first. Okay, well. He would have found 10 Elders for sure with the search. And he can only attack with... Okay, so he gets that. He still has no Mars in this bin. Okay, so I'm going to do a VV theory and actually calculate how the game should have gone if he didn't mechanically misplay on the sim. So he gets 10 Elders with the search. It looks like it's in his top 5, his next 5. Does he not have Mars? Okay, he has like 3 Mars at the bottom of his deck. Okay, so he probably gets Mars from the Walker Research. So that means he doesn't have it out on board. If he's on 1, he definitely dies. So he would need to actually have... Well, he just plays the rock. I mean, I just block no matter what, because he only has 1 more attack left after the way he played. So... But if he attached more, if he committed more, he might have been able to kill me. Because he has 6 Don left before he misplays with this. So it's like 10, 10, 10 something. Because it's 7. It's also, so he attached a single Don. So his leader's like 7. And then it's like 8. So if he went 9, if he attached an extra Don and swung 9 instead of 8s. I don't know why he swung 8, right? Extra Don and swung 9, 9, 9. I think he'll just die. And he has an extra rush. Which I have to, because I think they block 1 turn earlier. But then I would also have 1 more of this. It's pretty close. If I life was a 2k or a useful trigger, it's like very doable. Like a negation trigger to negate Jupiter, it's like doable. But otherwise, yeah, okay. He just didn't have Mars, honestly. So that's that. Network transport failure. Never mind. Okay, well, it wasn't meant to be. This video is already pretty long, so I'm not gonna keep talking anymore. That's kind of a good overview of Koala from your resident top 4 Brisbane regional player. I don't like proclaiming that stuff. I'm just a rogue deck builder who likes to deck build. I hate playing meta, and every video game I play, I play all these fighting games, all these like MOBAs, and not really all these MOBAs. I play all these fighting games. I play all these like character picking games, and I tend to not pick the strongest stuff because I like to try and make other things work. I like to try and see value in what people don't see, right? And so for me, like, yeah, OP13, it's like I'm gonna play Red Black Sabo, see how that goes. If I make a video about that, and try and top 64 something, hopefully. I don't know. Top 64 or Sabo seems pretty hard when everyone's playing Ace and Emu, right?